When I was diagnosed, my parents were told that I would probably not live long enough to graduate from high school. They were so wrong. I just recently graduated from Georgetown University and will be attending USC School of Social Work in the fall. I've realized that I am very passionate about people and want to give back to the world. We haven't found a cure yet, but we have made tremendous progress towards better treatments. I believe a cure will be found. I dream of a life free of cystinosis.
Hadley was born a year and 2 days after Stella. She was 8 pounds, 7 ounces, and seemingly perfect. She was growing amazingly well, eating like a champ. At 6 months, I started noticing some changes. I thought something just doesn't feel right. She wasn't crawling, she wasn't pulling up, she wasn't doing the same things that her sister did. And since I had just been through it a year before, I was concerned.
Cystinosis is a disease which is caused by a genetic defect that people who carry it do not know they're carriers. But if they happen to marry another carrier, then their children are born with both copies of the cystinosis gene and they have the disease. So their delivery is normal, the child looks normal for the first 6 months or a year of life, and the child starts getting sick, gets admitted to hospital for dehydration, doesn't feed well, doctors scratching their heads and noticing the child's not growing well. And they often go through 4 or 5 physicians trying to figure out what the problem is, until finally someone twigs the diagnosis of cystinosis, and then treatment starts. Without treatment, cystinosis tends to cause kidney failure by the time a child is 8 or 10 years old. And then, if the child gets a kidney transplant or is on dialysis, over further time, cystinosis causes damage to the nervous system, severe damage to the ability to speak and swallow and even walk. And so it ultimately is fatal.
It's really important to have friends and family and a community to help you take on this path.
You have hope and you hear all these things that are going on, but you can't help but think, my daughter is not going to have a full life.
Without the CRF, we'd be in the dark, pretty much. I mean, all of our education surrounding the disease and treatment, it all stemmed from there. Because it's an orphan disease, everything that's being done is coming from the CRF, and so it couldn't be more important to us.
All these studies look like it takes years and it takes a long time, and from a family perspective, it must be hard. From a scientist point of view, it's a fast pace. What we want to do is to use the patient's own stem cells and modify them genetically to introduce a healthy gene and reintroduce these cells into the patient. If it works, that would represent a lifetime treatment for cystinosis with one transplantation. We have now to work with the FDA and do these safety studies in the lab using human stem cells and also the mouse model of cystinosis that we have used for years. These studies should take 2 to 3 years if everything goes fine. If we don't see any adverse event, in this case, we would be able to develop a phase 1 clinical trial for cystinosis.
This field is at the forefront for all other lysosomal storage diseases, and there are about 40 of these. So if you multiply by 40 a rare disease, you no longer have a rare disease. It becomes something more common. What you learn at one spot is applicable in other spots.
So the current treatment for corneal cystinosis is hourly drops. So these drops have got to be given every hour, really for the rest of the patient's life. And I feel that that is a really onerous burden, not only for the patient, but for their family. I'm currently collaborating with Dr. Ganshan Ekara, who has really created this novel corneal drug delivery system, and we call that a nano wafer, that can release the drug over the course of a day or a day and a half rather than hourly. And we're really excited because we have preliminary data that shows that this drug delivery system is highly effective in reducing these corneal crystals. And it's our hope to present this data to the FDA and that we'll be able to start a clinical trial within a year or so.
We have to demand, we have to challenge, we have to probe the scientists to get the solutions to these problems as soon as possible.
I really believe we moved faster because of CRF. I never had to wait to go to the next step because the funding was always there.
I want Hadley to grow old. I want her to get married and have babies. I want her to, or not. I want her to do whatever she wants to do. Thought of a cure is not even a thought. We believe there will be a cure.
I have a picture of some patient here, as you can see, and I look at that every day, and I see the smile, and as a mother of 2 kids, I want to do my best.
It seems like only yesterday that I made my wish to have my disease go away forever. I can't believe how much progress has been made through the years. With your love and support, everyone in the cystinosis community will continue to have hope for the cure. Thank you for never giving up.